Hello, hello. Oh my goodness, right. This weekend has just been absolute madness. I just want to talk about anti-Semitism for a minute. Just for a minute. Because I don't know what's wrong with people. 2020 is the year ignorance died, as far as I'm concerned, right? There is no longer an excuse for ignorance. There is too much information out there. There are too many issues and challenges and barriers affecting all sorts of different groups and communities out there, which means there is no excuse for people still continuing to spew their foolishness, right? So I tweeted this morning, so I know this day after, but just ignore that for a minute. So I tweeted this morning because yesterday I saw that Wiley was trending, right? And I'm thinking to myself, oh, Wiley must have brought out some new tunes. That's what. When I started to see what some people were saying, and then I thought, what's going on here? Then I started to look through his tweet. Boop, 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 boop. Listen, I messaged Leanne and Abby and I was like, ladies, have you seen this? Has somebody hijacked his account? Because that's the only logical reason I could think of for some of the stuff. No, not for some of, for every single tweet that he was like laying. Now, this isn't about Wiley as an individual. I don't know him, like, you know, I know a few of his tunes. It's not about that. But what was really interesting when I was kind of scrolling through Twitter, because I was a bit like, are you serious? Like, we have to do away with this whole idea of anti-Semitism, any of the isms, as Dr. Nawai always says, any of the isms, racism, sexism, you know, any of it. But the other thing that I want to talk about well, there's two things actually in relation to this. One is just because I'm on a black vibe, unapologetically on a black vibe, does not mean that I don't have views, I don't have words about what happened and what is happening with other oppressed groups, right? And I feel the reason why I feel I need to address this, because people do message me a little bit and go, you know, like, Shireen, are you going to speak out about this? And Shireen, are you going to speak out about that? Well, my first thing is, what are you doing? What are you speaking out about? Point one, right? And point two, yes, I'm on a black vibe. Of course I am. But my heart is for everyone and every group who is going through oppression. My personal mission is, I think, because as black people, there are things that the world needs to change for us to be treated equally. That's where I'm focused. I can't stand here and, you know, do all of this for every single group or community who is oppressed. That's like, I can't, because there's only one of me. It doesn't stop you from, though. And like, I support where I can, but I choose to use my voice to focus on the black vibe. So it doesn't mean I don't care about what else is happening in other communities. You know, it does get my back up a little bit that people feel the need to like come to me and say like, oh, because you're talking about this, why aren't you talking about that? And again, I question their purpose behind why they want me to be talking about other stuff other than this. Like, I don't know, but you know. But so I just feel the need to make that point. Like, I care universally, but this is where I choose to lay my focus, and I'm not going to apologise for that. So that's point one. Point two, now, I saw, if I hadn't have been on Twitter, if I'm really honest, I would not have known that Wiley was spewing all these sorts of foolishness and anti-Semitic nonsense. I wouldn't have known, right? But I do know. So therefore, let's be crystal clear. I do not stand for it. I don't stand for anybody spewing any sorts of foolishness, but particularly just because he's black doesn't mean that I'm going to keep quiet. Which brings me on to my third point. Within the black community, we have to do away with this idea of being traitors to our race, right? Wrong is wrong, okay? So if Wiley or whoever is going to spew nonsense and say things that aren't right, that we, you know, are fundamentally not right. This is not about a difference of opinion here. And this is where I'm you know, there's no, it is black and white for me in this area. There's no grey, right? Just because Wiley is black or so-and-so is black or so-and-so is a woman I'm not going to not say anything because of my allegiance to them. Because guess what? Guess what? This is exactly what we are trying to pull up in terms of white supremacy and this whole idea of closing in the ranks and protecting people who are saying or doing the wrong things, and protecting people who are deliberately putting in place barriers to stop other oppressed groups from progressing, and all who now know that there are barriers to other oppressed groups progressing and are deliberately choosing not to do anything about eradicating those barriers, right? So if I could have easily just seen that tweet and just gone, you know, like, listen, you don't have to reply to anything about Twitter. It's not about Twitter. It's just this whole idea about speaking out when something isn't right. You know? Just because we are black and we are oppressed and there is work that we need to do to be treated equally does not mean that we have to give people a pass for doing stupid, ridiculous, disgraceful things just because they're black. Because therefore, how does that, I don't understand how that computes with the fight that we're trying to, and the movement that we're trying to move forward. I don't understand. And maybe I'm seeing this wrong, so, you know, feel free to kind of gather me together if I'm not seeing this correctly. I just don't understand why there's a reluctance and a reticence in calling out foolish behaviour. And I'm using the example of anti-Semitism because this is what was like blowing up on Twitter over the weekend. So this is my opportunity, in my words, in my video, to say, no, I don't stand for it. No, I do not stand for it, even if it's a black person saying it. No, I understand that there are other oppressed groups and other communities that need support and don't have life easy, as somebody said to me, like. But no, I also do not feel the need to spend all my time speaking out on those things because I'm making my choice and doing what's in my heart, which means I'm focused on black people. So I know this is a bit of a roundabout video, but it wasn't even what I intended to record today, if I'm really honest. Like, I had other things, but you know, I was just like, it was really bothering me. It was bothering me for so many reasons. It was bothering me that we're still in 2020, we're hearing anti-Semitic bullshit. It bothers me that in 2020 we're still having to have conversations about racism and sexism. It bothers me in 2020 that we are still in this space of trying to push and fight and be vocal and share our stories of pain, whether it's me as a black person, whether it's a black Jewish person, whether it's a white Jewish person, whether it's a Jewish person of colour, like whoever, that we are having to keep tabling our hurt and our stories to get people to understand that the world needs to change. Like, that still annoys me. Just because I'm on like day whatever else it is, it still annoys me like it did at the very beginning. But silence is being complicit, right? So I can be like other people and pretend that I didn't see that. And to be honest, you wouldn't even have known that, because genuinely I could have not have seen it and not known that it was a thing. I could not known that Wiley was doing it. You know, I didn't really see anything on Instagram. I saw a few little things from black people. That's why I felt the need to make this point about, you know, traitorous black people. But like, I do not stand for that. So I guess I just want to, where I feel like it hurts my soul, I'm going to speak up about it. But I'm here doing what I can do, using my voice in this space. Doesn't mean I don't care about what other groups and what other individuals are going through. And I guess what I want to say is, for those who from an armchair point of view, right, are going, well, you know, so-and-so's not speaking about that, so-and-so's not speaking about that. I go back to, well, what are you doing, right? In the nicest way possible. Because, like, you can't keep coming to me and going, Shireen, can you? I'm, like, here. I'm here. So, I know, like, oh, God. It just, like, it really hurts me. And you know what? I just have to remember what Abby said at the end of our live on Friday. Like, black people, don't be stupid. We can't do it. Listen, the whole world, relatively speaking, is looking for a reason and an excuse, right? Not to make the changes that we need to make for us to be treated equally. So when we go and do bullshit stuff and say bullshit stuff like that, we are distracting people and putting a target and going, look, you see, as Abby said, they can't even sort their own shit out, and now they're expecting us to. Now, I know it's not fair that we have to shoulder that sort of responsibility. I would say this to anybody, but like this is bigger than us as individuals. Like mission before self, as Margie said, this is bigger than us, you know? And it just, like, I'm just like, it just annoys me so much. And this is what I talk about as well when, you know, there's work to be done for every single person in this. Black, brown, white, whoever. There's work, different angles, but there's work. And there are just some things that we all have to come correct in and fix up. Because right about now, some of us are really letting down, not the side, the cause, the movement. Right, I think, you know what, I've vented my spleen enough, sorry. But I just had to get it off my chest. So, you know, I hope everybody else is as, you know, against anti-Semitism, you know, as I am. Just because I don't do a video on it every day, just because I don't do a video on X, Y, and Z, doesn't change the fact that it's all bullshit to me, right? So, hopefully my words will not be confused, and hopefully I can start getting messages about this, about why aren't you, why aren't you, why aren't you? No. Here is my answer. So if anybody comes to me now, I'm just going to send them a link to this video and go, no, this is it. Have a good rest of the day. Thank you.